Hello, this is Ollie's Movie Madness, and I'm going to be doing a movie review of Black Widow. This movie, I just find it forgettable. The storyline isn't that interesting because we center around Natasha Romanoff slash Black Widow, and she had to reunite with her family to free the other Black Widows from the Red Room's mind control dust and take down Taskmaster. And that's it. That's really the storyline. And out of all the Phase 4 MCU films, I think this one, along with Thor Love and Thunder, had the worst storyline in Phase 4 because it's not that interesting. And, the performances, they're not terrible, well, except for one. Scarlett Johansson, she did the best she can as Black Widow. It's not her fault. She did have a falling out with Disney because they released this film for $30 on Disney Plus and to theaters. And I can see why. You could just tell that Scarlett Johansson is just done playing this character. And, Black Widow, the character I never hated, but she wasn't my favorite MCU hero. And I think this film shows exactly why that is. Because her origin story, it's not terrible, but it's not that good either. It's just not very interesting. I mean, compared to other MCU origin stories like Wenwu and Namor, and, as much as I didn't like it, Gore the God Butcher's origin story from Thor Love and Thunder, I think that one was a lot better. You have Rachel Weisz play Milena Belova, and she does well with the material she's given. She's kind of like Natasha's mother, like foster mom, and they had really good moments, but it just didn't really make me feel anything. And I'm gonna say this movie didn't really make me feel any emotion in the MCU. Like it does, but it mostly made me feel bored and just uninterested. That is the best way I could sum up this film. Florence Pugh, she did the best she can as the new Black Widow, Yelena, but she's just not that interesting. She does the best she can. There's some really sweet moments with her and Natasha, but the film does try its best, but I think overall the emotional stuff doesn't hit you really hard, which I'll explain why later. The only performance I actually did enjoy was David Harbour as Red Guardian. I thought he was the best character because all of his jokes actually made me feel something. They made me laugh. And, he does a great job. In fact, the scene where they explain how the Red Room works, how they rip out all the females' reproductive organs, and Red Guardian is grossed out by that topic. That was hilarious. He was that's TMI. That was hilarious, but he doesn't really do anything, sadly. As much fun as Harbour is in this movie, he's completely underutilized. I would prefer. I would actually prefer if this was a Red Guardian TV show instead of a movie. Have 10 episodes of Red Guardian. I would like to see what he did in his early days, because he mentions they had the Pacific rivalry with Captain America, which they could have dived into that really interesting. Again, he does a great job. He's the standout. He's my favorite part of this entire movie. Ray Winston, he's fine in this movie. He plays Dragoff, the main villain, which I thought he was decent, but I can tell, much like Harrison Ford in Brave New World, he didn't really give a shit. Although, unlike Harrison Ford, who didn't give a shit in a funny way, Winston, I legit actually believe he didn't give a shit, because he said he didn't have fun making this movie. Because, for those who don't know, Ray Winston is a dramatic actor. He's not a comedy. He's not a comic book actor. He's not a superhero actor. He's a dramatic movie actor. So I can see why he was unhappy. I mean, his performance is good, and the character of Gerald Dragoff, you do hate, but his motivations are really weird. Okay, he wanted to like assemble these Black Widows and brainwash them for what? I don't get. So I think out of all the Indiana Jones actors, I think Winston gives the weakest performance in the MCU. Like even Keo Kwan from Loki season 2, he gave a better performance. It just feels like Ray Winston didn't really give a shit. He did well with the material, but he was just weak. The worst performance is the actress who played Taskmaster. And look, I have gone on multiple times of why I hate the Taskmaster. You know, the weird part is it's a guy, but then it turns out to be the daughter of Dragoff, Antonia Dragoff, which that was weird. I didn't really get that idea. I didn't believe that was his daughter because it was a guy under the costume. I mean, sure, the costume looks comic book accurate, but I don't really give a shit. It's just Taskmaster name. I think her and Sidewinder are the two most disposable villains in the MCU. I will say that Esposito gives a better performance. That's not really saying much because I think he's also dull in Brave New World. But again, the Taskmaster, the horrible villain, I don't get why she's going to come back in Thunderbolts. And there's not much for me to say about this movie. So I'll leave you with this. So in conclusion, I don't really like this movie. I thought it was just dull. I mean, the only reason why I do remember is it was the very first movie that me and Lou went to go see in theaters, so it kind of holds a special place in my heart for that reason. But in terms of a movie, I don't really care for it. I only saw it once, and I don't think I'll ever watch it again. Again, the storyline is just dull. It's just not that interesting. The performances are okay, and not the worst thing about the movie. The performances are just meh. Really, the only standout performance I loved was David Harbour as Red Guardian. He was hilarious. His jokes were amazing. And I felt like they should have focused the movie on him. But, you know, as much as Harbour was trying, he did save the movie from being utter garbage. But Ray Winston, I can legit tell, didn't really care. This is one of my least favorite MCU movies. And I'm going to just be honest. Thor Love and Thunder is annoying, but it had a better villain. This just bored me. I'm going to say this is probably the most boring Phase 4 movie in all of the MCU. I mean, it's not as boring as Secret Invasion, but it's just not that interesting. So I give this film a 5 out of 10. It's painfully mediocre. It's just unmemorable. It's not that interesting. Aside from David Harbour and Ray Winston giving decent performances, nothing much interests me, and it's just kind of a lackluster ripoff to Captain America the Winter Soldier. And I would say that is a better Black Widow film. Even though she's not the main character, she actually goes through an arc. But in this movie, she really doesn't go through much. Her family goes through a character arc, but she does not, and the action sequences are just dull. I'm going to say this, I hardly remember the action sequences. I remember the final climactic battle against Captain America and Red Hulk from Brave New World. Yeah, I remember that fight scene, but nothing in this movie. I remember how boring the climax was. It's so uninteresting. So that is my movie review of Black Widow. Hope you guys enjoyed.